Hello, students. You're welcome to your favorite educational program, Teaching and Learning on Radio by Niger State Ministry of Education. It promises to be interesting and it comes up every weekday. This is to keep the school children abreast of their curriculum due to coronavirus pandemic that has kept them at home. At this moment, we have our facilitator in the studio who will be taking you on a very interesting subject. Happy viewing. I am Kabir Yusuf.
To yet another interested program, Teaching and Learning on Radio. Today in Social Studies, we shall be looking at the topic Readiness in Marriage, which is a topic under the syllabus of JSS2 students. This topic is equally important for those in JSS1 and equally those in JSS3, because at the end of the JSS3 examination, questions are set and you cannot escape some question either in the OBJ or in the AC, and this topic that has to do with readiness in marriage. So at the end of today's lesson, we shall be able to, one, define marriage, look at the definition of marriage. We shall also be looking at the functions of marriage. We shall be looking at forms of marriage. Number 4, we'll look at the conditions for marriage. That is to say, the things that you are supposed to follow before you can go into this all-important institution called marriage. And lastly, we shall be looking at the effect. And here we are talking about the negative effect of lack of readiness in marriage. So these are the items we shall be discussing as we progress. Like I said earlier, this is a topic meant for JSS2 students. And as I said, it is equally important for those in JSS1 and equally those in JSS3. So we begin with the definition of marriage. As we all know, marriage is an important union between a man and a woman as husband and wife. A man and a woman are joined together to start a family as husband and wife. This is what we refer to as marriage. And marriage is very, very important in the life of people in the society. And in the process of interaction, marriage is important. There are two things we will look at before we go into the functions of marriage. One can decide to marry within his ethnic group. If you marry within your ethnic group, we refer to as such marriage endogamy. Take it again, we refer to such marriage endogamy. Endogamy simply means a man and a woman of the same ethnic group. For example, a Nupe man marries another Nupe woman. That type of marriage we refer to is as what? Endogamy. Another example or another form of marriage is that of a man going outside his ethnic group to get married to a woman. A Gbagi man in Niger State can decide to go to Imo State and marry an Igbo woman. We call that type of marriage exogamy type of marriage. I hope the listeners are following. The next item we are going to look at is the functions of marriage. And we list a quite number of them here. Marriage is a very important institution in the society, because an adult seeking a life partner will go out, look for a woman, marry her and bring her and start a family. So what are those things that marriage does to the life of these two people that decide to come together as man or as husband and wife? One, maintenance of the society. This point is just talking about society that is living in peace, because marriage gives rise to family setup. Because we don't live haphazardly like animals, just like we live in a careful, organized manner. And one of the things that organizes the society and maintain the peace and tranquility of the society, peace, unity and tranquility, is marriage. Marriage is very, very important, because if a man marries a woman, He starts a family, gives birth to children. Now he has to maintain. And by so the implication is that the society will be what? Maintained. The second function of marriage is identification of ancestral roots. It is through marriage that we get to identify our ancestral root. You get to trace your forebearers, those grandparents that came before you. That is what marriage does. Again, the next one is inheritance. There are some religion or some group of people in the society. If a child is born outside wedlock, such a child is considered an illegitimate child and will not inherit the parent. So marriage is the link to connect the child in order to inherit his parents. For instance, if a father or a mother dies and left properties like houses, cars, and what have you, the child will now take over the ownership of those properties. That is what we refer to as what? Inheritance in this instance. The next function of marriage is that of procreation. Procreation simply means giving back to the younger ones. We live in a society where we identify legitimate children and those that are illegitimate. And there is this what we call stigmatization. Many children that are born out of wedlock, people look at them as illegitimate, and some people tend to cause a form of discrimination among them. So procreation is very, very important. If a man marries a woman, they are expected to give back to children, and these children contribute to what? To the number of people in the society in terms of what? Population growth. The next or the last function of marriage we have in this part is that of friendship or life partner. Some people marry in order to what? Have somebody they can discuss, share mutual bond with as life partners. Friendship is very, very important in the life of a marriage. A man must look at the woman as his friend, who he can confide on, seek for advice, sit, chat, and do other things that a husband and a wife will do. These are the 5 functions of marriage we have. The next item we shall be looking at is forms of marriage. And here we have 3 categories of them. The first one is the religious marriage. The second one is ordinance marriage or marriage by ordinance. And the third one is customary marriage. We'll explain them one after the other. The religious marriage. This is a form of marriage that is carried out in accordance with the teachings of the 2 major religions we have in the society. The Christians forms of marriage. The one that is referred to as the white marriage, where the husband will be adorned in a suit or a coat, and the woman will be wearing a flowing white gown, and then they will be taken to the church, presented by their family in front of a priest or a pastor or a reverend who supervise over the union and preside over joining those 2 to become man and wife, or husband and wife at the end. But the implication of the Christian's marriage here is that in most instances the marriage is for better, for worse, and in such instances the man is not given the opportunity to marry more than one wife. That is for the Christian's form of marriage. The Islamic marriage, which is part of the religious marriage, is equally another religious form of marriage where Islamic rules and regulations are put into consideration in order to join a man and a woman to become husband and wife. But unlike the Christian setup, where both the wife to be and the husband to be will be standing before a priest in order to marry them, here just a group of individuals, the chief imam of the town, the representative of the bride, and that of the husband to be, will be assembled in a place, and there they will consummate the marriage for the two people to be joined as husband and wife. The implication of that of the Muslim marriage is that they are allowed to marry more than one wife. You can marry as many as 4, but you have to put it at the back of your mind that you don't just rush to marry or acquire multiple wives simply because the religion has given you the go ahead to do that. You have to consider certain things which we are going to discuss under the conditions for marriage later. The second part of the marriage is marriage by ordinance. This one is a legal marriage that take place in the court. Those who doesn't want to take the religious part will go to court. The man and the woman will go to court, and a witness. There they will register in the court registry, and they will be what? They will be united as husband and wife. That is marriage by ordinance. It is a legal marriage that took place or takes place in the court. The last item we have under the forms of marriage is customary marriage. This is a marriage that is carried out according to the dictate of